My state Marcus here again, and I've got this lovely picture here, which I know it looks like a sort of sideways uh, sort of beam of light above my head there. It's actually a picture I took of where I live behind the house here, and it was a portal. Now I'll show you. Oh, let's go the other way. See that? It's like that portal there shining through. And when I took it, actually, it looks like it's a halo. In my case, definitely not. But yeah, it's a portal. And it was really very solid, actually, when I first saw it. But by the time I got my camera out and took a picture, it got a bit thinner, if you like. But before that, it looked so solid. It was obviously a Stargate or some portal or something. We often feel there's something above us here. We have done in other places we've lived. And in the 90s, a friend of mine had told me there's a mothership over you all the time. And I wasn't really into, I mean, I was into beings from other places being here. I'd seen a ship, a massive ship above my head. So I had no doubt there were vessels everywhere. So yeah, I've always felt the vessels and seen the vessels, in fact. And I know there's beings who are existing here. And over the last few years, I've been very much in a standing about the beings who are inside the planet or in dimensions that are within our planet, if you like. And of late, I did a video, and out the blue, I was doing a channel actually, and out the blue, I said the beings under the sea. And I've always believed, like the tales of Atlantis, that there are cities of beings under the sea. Now, whether they're from Atlantis, whether they're from another place, I can't say. But what I can say is how I feel. And I feel that they're definitely there. And let's face it, we actually know more about places like outer space and the moon than we do about under the oceans. There's lots of places under the oceans we've never been. We can't go with the vessels we've got. We are developing newer and newer spheres that can go under the water to that depth. And we will soon see, no doubt, what is lurking, if that's not the right word, maybe, what is under our oceans. Now, there's a particular emphasis at the moment for me on the Antarctic. Now, I was fascinated when I saw the videos some time back, and there's a lot out there at the moment about Admiral Byrd. I originally saw a video that was stating that he'd been sent after the war to look for German flying saucers, basically. Germans who had a base in Antarctica, and they were making or producing flying saucers. And there was technology in Germany. I've seen videos of the trying to fly these things, of these vessels. And there's a lot of information about some of the Nazi regime looking into extracurricular stuff, such as magical items and ancient things, let's say. And so that was plausible. So when I looked into it, I thought, oh, this is very plausible. It could be there's Nazis who escaped and who are actually here under the Antarctic. But turns out, looking more and more into the what was put out by those who were on the Admiral Byrd mission, there were like 4,000 or more people, loads and loads of ships, 30 odd planes, helicopters, and they had an aircraft carrier there, 13 vessels, I think it was. an aircraft carrier in the Antarctic. So they went there looking for, the official line was they're looking for to make sure that their weapons will work in these conditions and that their equipment can function properly and they can make bases in Antarctica. Well, anytime you want to look for something that shouldn't be there, you only have to look at what the governments of this world do. And in this case, it was quite a lot of governments of different countries. I think the date at the moment, I think originally it was about 11, then it went up to 20, and now it's something like 50. I'm not sure of the facts, so don't quote me. But there's a lot of countries who have made Antarctica a no-go zone for people to do certain experiments or to look into things or to, try and find things out. And it's basically a no-go zone. And besides Admiral Byrd, who flew over a big hole apparently in Antarctica and saw what looked like a pyramid, there's been other pyramid shapes, black pyramids, seen by other pilots of late in Antarctica under the ice. And the latest video I saw was suggesting that there's cities underground, under the ice, that there are whole complexes that predate anything we are aware of on this planet at the moment. Now, I'm not really bothered about what people say. I'm just bothered about how I feel about it. And I do feel that maybe there were Nazis who went there, but I do feel that there are beings who exist in this place. I don't want to use the word, people use the A word, but maybe they're extraterrestrial beings. Maybe they're terrestrial beings pre-us, that were here before us, that realize that we're dangerous and they need to stay away from us because they just want to live happily ever after and go off into their holiday resorts. Whereas we may go to the Gran Canaries or to somewhere in Portugal for a holiday, or America. They go to places like, Beetlejuice and Arcturus and other places for their little holiday resorts. So it could well be that they just hang out here. This is their home. And they go elsewhere as well. And I'm only talking about this because this is coming out without a doubt. My guidance, thank you, from above tells me that all the stuff that's coming out, the disclosures that we're going to have in the next year or two, I think this year, personally, there's a disclosure about these things, not just about the beings who are under the Antarctic, but the beings who are in Mount Shasta, the beings who are in the Himalayas, the beings who are existing in Lake Titicaca in Peru, the beings who are in lots of different places who exist here and have existed here for not just millennia, but possibly hundreds of thousands or millions of years. And to think that we're the only species that can have life is a bit silly, really, to think that in all these places in the universe, never mind just the Milky Way, where there's hundreds of thousands or hundreds of millions or billions or trillions of stars with planets around them, some of them. So, to think that we're the only living things is it's a bit too far-fetched for me. And anyway, my guidance is from star beings as well as angels. So the star beings tell me that they exist. They don't, the ones we connect to don't exist in the physical like we do. They exist in a different guise. And in the same way as those that have passed in this lifetime that we live in, those who have already lived and died, as we say, they've already carried on their life in a different guise, without a physical body, but just a spiritual body, what we may refer to in times as an astral body, let's say. I'm not saying it is that, but in as much as we can't see it, but they're there. And at times, there's, especially in special times of the year, the veil is thin. And what that means is that the distance or the ability to see through one world into another world is much, much easier. And at those times, we can see and feel the spirits of those who have passed, who we loved and loved us, who we cared for and cared for us. They're there, they're here and now. We physically can't grab them, but we often can feel them for sure. I've had various experiences in my life where I've heard or felt the existence of another being who I loved, who has been there and helped me, made me turn round in my car, made me go home, made me go another way, helped me to make the right decision, saving my life at times. And so for me, I don't have any doubt they exist. And for others, it's very hard for them to even conceive an existence of a spiritual being, because we're so used to everything being tangible, being able to grab it, that we won't try even to imagine that there could be an existence different from ours. Now, I belong to a group of many, many souls here on this planet who are called way showers, light bringers, star seeds, many, many different names for different guises of us. And our belief system is that we're raising our vibration at this moment in time so that we can rise up in our vibration, rising up in our vibrational awareness so that we start to understand the worlds that we live in, not just this physical world, but the astral, the etheric, and what we refer to as the different dimensions. And the beings who I refer to and I call star beings, the Lyrans, the Arcturans, the Pleiadians, many, many others, the Andromedans. These are what I refer to as star beings. They don't necessarily show themselves as physical because they don't live in a physical way anymore. There was a time they did, and over time, just like a caterpillar turning into a moth, they changed into a new existence. And this is what we're in the process of doing. Not all of us can at this moment because everyone's at different levels of lifetimes, how many times they've had a go at purifying themselves, of making themselves more aware, of bringing their awareness higher and higher. And this is where we're getting to now. Those who have spent many lifetimes doing this are at the point of jumping to a new level of conscious awareness, being aware of all the different vibrations that exist outside of 3D into 4th and 5th density and above. And we are bit by bit moving now into that way. And I personally believe it's going to be quite a big jump. And I explained this to someone the other day, and the only way I can explain it is for us to truly say, I understand that beings of a higher vibration exist and they don't have a body. They're of much higher dimensional awareness. We have to look at 3D from above it. And we can only do that by raising our conscious awareness to higher fourth and fifth density. Now, my belief system, whatever that may be, I don't know what you could call it, but what I believe is that those who have lived here and passed over, they are still alive in a different life experience without a physical body. They exist in a place called lower fourth density or lower fourth dimension. Above that, higher fourth dimension and fifth dimension is where some of us will be residing. And we will have more contact then with those that have passed. In a way, I've just thought of this actually at this very second. This could be what was meant in the Bible, where it says, and in those days, the living will see the dead sort of thing. They'll be aware of all the spirits that have passed, because we will be able to actually be aware of them. I mean, here and here and here and here, there's probably all sorts of beings who are in this space, but we can't physically see them because they don't have a physical existence. Sometimes, if we're very tuned in, we can feel their presence. But normally, they're just not in our physical space. So what I've said for years now is, for us to really understand 3D, which is this way, that way, that way, that way, that way, and that way, we have to be outside of it. Otherwise, we're only looking at these places basically one at a time or two at a time. We can't see all of the places in one go without being outside of it, looking down, if you like, looking down on 3D. Only then do we see actually how it all works. And this is what's going to happen when some of us jump into this new awareness. We're going to be able to focus on what is actually happening in 3D, how things can be changed, how things can be made better. It could be we'll go up and come back down. We might raise to fourth, fifth density and then come back to third density, knowing so much more about how we can change things here to make it more, to make it easier, if you like, for some of us to help others move up to higher dimensional awareness. It's only words, but this is what I believe. Anyway, I just wanted to pass a few things on. I do feel there'll be disclosure this year. I did feel that we would be feeling and seeing ETs this year, but it might be that we're seeing them inside of our world, around our world, under our world. They're the ones that we'll see first before the landings that are coming. Only time will tell. Namaste. In the meantime, stay healthy, stay well, stay in your heart. Keep the fear out of here, because any fear blocks the light. If you allow yourself to listen to rubbish and take in the fear that it produces, you will be blocking the light and the enlightenment that is coming your way. Try not to listen to that rubbish. Try not to focus on that rubbish. If you have to listen to it, try not to take it into your heart. Keep your heart vibrant, full of love, and keep yourself full of joy as much as you can, so that all that stuff just bounces off you. Not easy, but we can all do it. We can all put that into practice. Keep the fear out of here. Been saying it for years. It's not always easy. Even I struggle sometimes. But we can all do it. Till next time. Hopefully. Thank you for listening. Still here.